very kindly agreed to come and share a lot of her experiences with you as a mum, working with SleepTalk and how it affected her. She has an ADHD child, a little indigo child, and intellectually impaired. And it's been a very, very interesting and very exciting journey. So I haven't had a chance to catch up with her in the last 2 months, but she's very kindly offered to come and talk with you and share her story with you. Cool. I would like you to welcome Michelle. Would you like to come up in front of Michelle? And thank Michelle very much. It's the first time we've done this. Michelle, I met, how long ago, Michelle? Yes, about 1.5 years ago. And Michelle has a young son by the name of Blaine. And Blaine was diagnosed ADHD. And then when Michelle went back to the specialist who diagnosed Blaine, he didn't exactly accept what Michelle was saying because it couldn't possibly happen because he'd been given the label ADHD. And ADHD children don't get better.
Yeah, and autism too.
And autism,
and
that's right.
Disability.
Yeah. So I'm going to hand over to Michelle and she's going to give you the history of Blaine and what happened with the SleepTalk and how she felt as a parent coming into this. Well, I've tried everything else, I might as well go and see this queer bird giant.
I was open to anything.
You were, exactly, that's what I mean, this queer bird giant. If all else fails, I've tried everything else.
Where do I start? I'll start with Blaine's diagnosis. Years ago, I was told as an overprotective mother. I went to 3 paediatricians. They said, oh, there's nothing wrong with your child. At this stage, he was about 2. Had him under speech pathology. And a year later, I then became along to his developmental paediatrician and he diagnosed him with autism, ADD, and an intellectual disability, which they call global developmental delay. I was given the worst case scenario. I was told to never read, write, socialise, be a high dependent child all his life. And all through his life, and it'd be a long life disability. And of course, yes, I've accepted this. And if writing the living dialogues, I didn't know where to go, what to do. And then when I wanted to tap into their support services, there was no support there. All the funding had all dried up, all the early intervention you couldn't get into. I thought, how do I manage this disability? So and I learned I had to get down to Blaine's level. I had to get down to his level and start from the very scratch. Because being a developmental disorder and affecting every part of the body, brain, everything, and also having a low immune system, and being a sole parent too. Blaine went through, my husband and I divorced when Blaine was about 2.5. Blaine was physically abused by his father, shaken at a very young age. I then went through, I looked at immunisations, I thought maybe the cause of his autism and all these disabilities interacted. And I thought, right, instead of dwelling on that, fixate on Blaine and what I can do now, not what happened in the past. And going through a difficult divorce and getting Blaine diagnosed at that time was a very difficult part of my life, and for Blaine. But I can say it's made us very strong. It's bonded us. You're talking about child autism bonding and saying, Mum, I love you. And it's very strange, but it has happened. And it was a fully living experience. We went through different programs and that. I did see some changes and that bit of confidence level, but went to special schools and early intervention, and I did as much as I could. I did other programs, I went to naturopaths, I did everything possible. And it did make some progress, some help, but the major thing that, in a nutshell, was thank God I come across Joan.
I'm a nice person, aren't I?
Yes. SleepTalk has made all the difference within the last, Blaine's now 9. And after 3 years of supervised access with his father, I found it very hard for me to let go and to let him go to his father's. And I thought, but Blaine needs his father. So what I had to do is break down all those barriers and become very open-minded, and that got me out of my comfort zone. Blaine would always come back from his father's like parents of a divorced family, the children of a divorced family. Children always suffer. It's always the children. Their parents are always saying, look, we've got our issues. They never look at the children. The children are always the ones who are affected. Because do I love mum or do I love dad? And the thing is, you've got to stay neutral. You've got to stay neutral and put yourself in your children's shoes. And by looking at that, Sleep Talk helped Blaine because, for one, the changes going backwards and forwards every fortnight to his father's. And his father didn't know how to manage his autism really well. And he'd come back, and all the work that we had done, all the positive work, had been undone in that initial weekend. It was back temper tantrums, more autistic behaviour. He was stressed out. The anxiety was just incredible. I was in tears. He was in tears. I went backwards and forwards to the psychologist, trying to work things out, doing things like social stories, giving him things to make him feel more secure. And it was good, but I knew things could be better. So what I found with Sleep Talk, with doing it, the initial stages, what I noticed was I started doing it. The first time I went in, Blaine, woke up. He said, get out of here, get out of here. And it's just this huge temper tantrum. And I just stood there, normal tone of voice, and said, Mummy loves you, Daddy loves you. I mean, it just went all through this. We incorporated Mummy loves you, Daddy loves you, we all love you. And I'm remarried and I'm having a new baby. It's 3 months old. I'm also doing Sleep Talk with her. Ever since she was been in the womb, I've done Sleep Talk. And she is a well-adjusted little girl. She sleeps, eats, that's a baby. Now getting back to Blaine, he basically fought off for about 2 weeks, but slowly, because it was a change and it's a shock to the system. And of course, inside I was thinking, God, does this work? Does this work? And I'm sure he could pick up those feelings from me. And so what I need to go in is the belief had to come in, the belief and the motivation for this to happen. So I was just looking at any sign of this happening. And one day at the breakfast table, Blaine said, he just repeated, Mummy loves you, Daddy loves you, we all love you. And I just stood there and I laughed. I was amazed. And then this was after about 3 or 4 weeks. And then all these changes slowly started coming in. And he'd come up and said to me, Mum, I love you. And he put his arms around me. And but some of the initial stages, like at school, he was having bullying at school, and this was at a special school, but not specific enough to his needs. I went to the school, they didn't address it properly, I thought it was being addressed, I went over and over and over. And also through the years, I've noticed at school there were more autistic behaviours coming in, there were more autistic tendencies that we thought we had extinguished, but we didn't. And they were coming back and I thought, well look, he's getting really stressed, what do I do here? So I kept on going and I went back and seen Joan and the support, and I could see Joan was saying it's 10% was improved, yes, and keep on plodding on. But then I sort of stopped. I stopped doing Sleep Talk, and then Blaine reverted back. He slipped back. And then but what I then did again was I reinverted Sleep Talk, getting right back into it, staying clear and focused, but it takes longer because his subconscious mind was up on guard, saying, I don't want to do this, I'm not going to accept all this information again. You stopped, so I'm going to do it. But I just kept on going, kept on persisting, and the main thing is consistency and routine and stability. It's the main thing for this program. You need to be absolutely dedicated to 100%. Okay, otherwise you're letting your child down and you're letting yourself down in your family and that. And but going through all this, his confidence level started to go up because he was talking about, Mum, I'm scared of dying, Mum, if I lose you. And this was really taking self-esteem down. He started crying, and he had to sleep with the light on all the time. the fear of thunderstorms, the fear of flies, which are all autistic tendencies, behaviours, gone. Totally gone after a year. His eating habits, he had the most rigid eating pattern. It was incredible. Wouldn't eat, he could eat fruit, wouldn't eat vegetables, meat. Things had to be cooked in a certain way. Plate had to be a certain way. Changes in the environment, like with Blaine, I needed to, I still do from time to time. It depends on his levels, but he's getting better. But he's adapting to change much better. It's incredible. Like, he doesn't get upset anymore. He's happy. He comes out. Now, I can say a year ago, developmentally, all he could do was a line on the board like this. Like that. That's all he could do. And now, he will open up a book, the creative side of his mind. This is not... I've seen a huge, incredible adjustment, difference. I'm astounded. Before I even say this, it's going to blow you away. He's opening up a picture book, like a cartoon book, opening up, looking at the pictures, closing up, drawing it. Now, I am absolutely astounded. I have never I'm shocked, and his teachers are absolutely in disbelief. Now, he goes to a school that's autism specific now, and the teachers there cannot believe it. But what we do is we do goal setting with Blaine, and he sets goals and he achieves them. His confidence levels are incredible. He eats 3 meals a day, he eats what's put in front of him, and he's willing to try new foods. And you're talking with a child with your child that's going to be self-dependent on you all your life. Yes, he will need help and support, but he's a child that is growing, his confidence, his independence. What more can I say?
Michelle, could you just, if you feel comfortable,
Yes.
and it's fine if you don't,
No.
would you mind sharing with us, why did you stop?
I stopped probably to see a reaction, to see if I could
See if it worked?
It worked, yeah. I did that. Yeah, I basically thought, yeah, I did that.
Yeah.
Maybe
Maybe it's just a coincidence.
Yes.
Maybe I just didn't. Perhaps it's just my wishful thinking.
Yes.
Isn't it amazing how the second time around it's a little bit more difficult?
Absolutely. It's a little bit more difficult. It's like all these blocks go up, all these walls go up. And
defense mechanisms.
Yeah, and you just blocked everything out. Absolutely blocked everything out. And they're saying that with children with autism, they're doing more and more every day. That you can use this to enhance children, everything in people's lives, and it gives them improves relationships. And he's making friends.
Wow.
And like
that's fabulous.
but he's making it's for relationships. And Blaine was just not diagnosed by anyone. He was diagnosed by some of the world's best experts.
Now, what did the experts say when you went back and told them, and they said, how's Michelle been going? How's Blaine been going? What was the comment when you told them of the changes?
They were astounded. Actually, Dr. Graves actually said, "What we're going to have to reassess Blaine, reassess him."
And he
has Monash disabilities at Monash Medical Centre. He's a developmental paediatrician.
pretty good.
And your Pam Langford, who is a educational psychologist. She's also second.
And she's at where?
And she's at Field.
Okay. Are they aware that you're working with SleepTalk?
Yes, they are.
And what's their comments?
The comment at first, Dr. Graves said, it's all hoo-ha.
Don't you just love it?
He said it was all hoo-ha, and because when I first initially told him, he said, "Oh, don't waste your time, don't waste your money on that." And he said, like, it's just like another program called Applied Behavioural Analysis that will never do any good. And Dr. Grace is actually called conventional medicine. And he actually said, wow, he left him speechless.
So you've been back?
I've been back,
Good.
and he is
A
astounded.
little bit more open.
Yeah.
That's great. So it's been a growth
He's a
for him
little
as
bit
well.
more open.
learning.
The Pam Langford is really open to it.
I think we have
She's on
to.
the board of Autism Victoria.
That's excellent. Now, when are you going to become a coach, Michelle?
I'd love to.
Yeah. The other
I'd
thing,
like to help.
yeah, I think you would be excellent.
Yes.
I think the other thing that I find I have to keep my feet on the ground is that sometimes sleep talk is not the only single modality that is going to cause change, but it assists children who are receiving help from other experts and other people. It seems to assist and increase the effectiveness of all of the other modalities that the child is being subjected to. So where I would love to say, yes, sleep talk is the and only modality that's working here, it's not necessarily so. It's because the other modalities are now being given an opportunity and a pathway for expression. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So there is no one thing that works with sleep talk, because we rely on the intellectual, unbelievable intelligence of the individual child that will find their own pathways. They will start to incorporate the things that they maybe heard a year ago from such and such expert, or the specialist that they saw 2 weeks ago. What was the assistance that they gained would start to be implemented because there's been a shift in the knowing, in the acceptance, and in the belief in self. Does that make sense? Michelle, I can't thank you enough. Thank you so much.
No, but thank you very much.
Give that.
Thank you. For any parent with a child with a disability is to accept that disability, and the amount of grief the parents go through is just immense. And some of the parents feel it's their fault, but it's not. And the thing is, though, to help these parents get on top of it and can help anyone in any situation, is to just be open-minded and just have a good look at it and try it.
Have a go.
Have a go.
Thank you.
Oh,